Each week of college football that passes, we get closer to the ultimate goal. And even though some teams may have had their season's hope be knocked out of them, there's still plenty of teams that are able to fight their way back into college football relevancy. Now, I'd appreciate it if you join me in selecting some games that could have massive ramifications in the story of the 2025 college football season on this week's College Football Preview and Predictions Week 7 edition. What's up, fellas? Last week in college football was amazing. I'm still not over that Penn State-UCLA game. What an upset. Even if it was by the baby Bruins. I think that shocked the entire CFB world. And I also think James Franklin's probably going to get fired eventually. I don't know though, that's up to them. Penn State is what they are at this point, a mediocre team. Nothing's going to change that this season. That's old news though. We won't spend too much time on that. I think last week did show me one thing though, for certain in the new college football era. This sport is no longer built for monolithic reigns. With the transfer portal, NIL, and constant roster turnover, sustaining a powerhouse program might be harder than ever. Talent still matters, don't get me wrong. You still need talent. There is a prerequisite to be an upper echelon program. But I think culture and coaching matters even more now. And that fact does tie into both teams that I cover the most on this channel. So let's start there with the currently undefeated, mighty UNLV Rebels that have made me prouder and prouder each week they play. They are coming off a huge win in Laradise over a tough Wyoming squad. It's not the fact that Dan Mullen's crew is sitting with an undefeated record right now that really is important to me, but it's that we've improved every single week since that almost season-ending Week 0 game against Idaho State. But we're about to hit the most important stretch of games, starting with this Air Force team. Looking at this from the Air Force Academy point of view, don't let this record fool you. Air Force might be 1-4, but they're still dangerous. Offensively, they've surprised everyone. For years, Air Force is known to be an option team. I mean, that's just academy football though. But this year, they're throwing the ball way more than usual, and I think that gotta give some credit to their quarterback, Liam Sarka. Now, he's not your typical quarterback. He runs like a tailback. He pretty much is a running back with an arm, but he has enough talent to make defenses pay when they stack the box and don't have any help over the top. With me saying all this about their passing offense, don't get it twisted. They are still an option team. They'll lull you to sleep with the 2-yard runs and then try to hit you over the top when the safeties creep up. So UNLV, you gotta stay disciplined, make the tackles in space. Now, let's actually look at it from the Rebels' point of view. The defense has to keep improving. Last week was a major step forward. If we can carry that same energy into this week, things could get ugly for them. We got to focus on stuffing the run early. It'll do wonders for our confidence going forward, not in just this game, but the season from here on out. You're going to still have to be ready to grind it out with this team. Service academies are always tough, always physical. They're going to make you earn it, so please come to play. Offensively, we should have a field day. For how much credit I just gave Air Force on offense, their defense might be the worst in its history. Corey Dennis and the boys should be super excited. Keys to the game, get Jet the ball. I mean, honestly, 10 carries in the first half should not be a difficult ask. Get Calandria in rhythm, because if he's in rhythm, he can carve up that secondary. And speaking of that secondary, attack the weak secondary when they start creeping up. Like I just said, they should not be able to keep up with us. Now, for the prediction, I mean, if you don't know by now, this is a UNLV USC channel first, and then a college football channel after. So I'm never going to pick against my squad. Do I think we cover the 6-point spread? We should, but I'm not betting on that. Not until I see it consistently week to week. Still, Rebels win. Let's get this dub. Go Rebels. Now on to the other half of my football life, the USC Trojans. Just like with UNLV's culture getting seemingly better and better each week, USC needs to prove to everybody that they're not pushovers. Coming off an embarrassing loss to the Illinois Fighting Illini. Damn, bro, I'm gonna get that one time. God. The Trojans had a much needed bye week. Now they're back at home in the Coliseum for a massive test against Michigan. As always, we have to look at it from the bad guy's point of view. So for Michigan, this game rests on the shoulder of freshman Bryce Underwood. I know Justice Haynes is good, but Bryce is the X factor. You see flashes of talent. Like, I see it. He is a talented kid, especially when he runs. But as a pure passer, he is still developed. Through 5 games, he's thrown just 3 touchdowns, a despite throwing over 1,000 yards. I mean, that's not enough, to be honest with you, but I blame the coaching staff more than I blame the kid. They've been way too conservative with him. Once they take the training wheels off for him, he will be special.
But
this receiving core is not good for the Michigan Wolverines. Their biggest threat, senior receiver Donovan McCulley, is the only real deep ball weapon they have. That's where this gets interesting, because USC secondary is god-awful. They've struggled all season. So, in my eyes, it's basically bad versus bad, who messes up less. Now, looking at it for the Trojans, this game is about pride. Don't sugarcoat it. This is, do you want to win? Everyone is picking against you. But when you look at rosters, I'm be honest with you, we have more talent. Question is, do you actually want it? Do we have the fight to back it up? Defensively, it starts with our corners. I just said they're not good, but you guys got to stop giving up big plays. I don't care if you have to hold them every play. Just don't give up 50-yard bombs to a Michigan team that should not be beating you at that spot. For our linebackers, you have to bring that old school Trojan energy. Bro, when you put on that jersey, you carry the legacy of guys like Brian Cushing, Junior Seau, Willie McGinnis, Ray Malug, Clay Matthews. I could go on and on. Play like it means something to be in that jersey, please. The only one I don't have to worry about is Eric Gentry. Shout out to him. Dude is a straight up monster. If he keeps playing like he has been, he might be considered the best linebacker in the Big Ten by the end of the season. But if we want to win, it all starts with the D-line. No more getting pushed around. Stop the run early. Force punts. Give our offense a good field position to start. Speaking of the offense, look, just keep doing what's been working. Michigan got one of the best defenses we'll face all year. I'm not going to pretend like this isn't a good defensive team. But if we establish the run early with Wayman Jordan and Eli Sanders, it'll open up everything for Maava. Speaking of Maava, I honestly think he's become the quarterback I knew he could have been. The same guy I believed in at UNLV. He is the best quarterback in the Big Ten right now, and I'm proud of that. We have to find Mekhi Lemon, and looks like we're going to be able to get Elijah Page back healthy, so that's huge. Killian O'Connor's definitely out, so big Jeanre Reed is going to have to step up, but that's what we got him in the portal for, so, I mean, I trust him. For the prediction, look, like I just said before, USC wins, and we cover that 2.5-point spread. FBI has us winning, but Lincoln Riley, this is your moment. You cannot afford another letdown. You're dangerously close of getting into the James Franklin category. I know you're better than Sharon Moore. Prove it. Fight on, protect the collie, send Michigan home questioning if they ever want to come back west again.
Pictures and selfies because we're at the nice Coliseum. It's sold out, but it's sold out because Michigan's coming.
Coach, I'm not sure if you saw, but Sharon Moore said this game's a sellout only because Michigan's coming. So are you kind of expecting a pretty good, solid home field advantage? You know, he's making it seem like there's going to be a lot of Michigan fans in the stands.
Yeah, I don't really care what he says. We're looking forward to playing.
Let's head back to the Mountain West for a very intriguing matchup, at least in my eyes. I mean, selfishly, it's because they both play UNLV coming up here pretty soon. But for casuals, I think this is intriguing because of the fact they're both coming off of losses. New Mexico's loss to San Jose State kind of exposed that maybe they're not where we thought they were yet, but they're still in a total rebuild. Boise, on the other hand, lost to a much more talented Notre Dame team. But that's not the issue. The issue is how they lost. They lost without ever really being competitive and putting up points against I'm gonna say it, a not very good Notre Dame defense. Looking at this on the field though, besides last week, Boise State's offense, I'll be the first one to tell you, has surprised me wholeheartedly. They're top 15 in yards per game, but their passing yards per game is where it really shocks me. Compared to last year's team where they were exclusively run, they are top 30 in passing yards per game, and that's thanks to Maddox Madison. He has balled out this year. Shout out to that dude. They wanted him to get benched after week 1. Defensively is probably where you could say they're at their weakest, but they're still solid. New Mexico, on the other hand, offensively, it is what it is. I mean, it's nothing special, but they love running the ball. I think that's Jason Eck's style. He wants to run the ball to set up the pass later in games. The key to this game is going to come down to quarterbacks, but that's the Mountain West for you. You have to have good quarterback play to win in this league. Maddox Madison, like I just said, is a baller. 9 touchdowns to 5 picks, but most of those picks, I think 4 of them came against Notre Dame, so just a bad day. Jack Lane, on the other hand, was playing good football, man, and then last week happened where he threw 3 INTs in critical situations. I think it's going to come down to which quarterback can play smart football, and because of that, I'm going with the Broncos. They're going to beat most teams on their schedule in the Mountain West. I don't like picked them, but they'll win this game. I will say this, though. They won't cover. New Mexico is going to be fired up. They're going to come out, hit them in the mouth. Ultimately, Boise weathers the storm, wins this game. So, boo Boise. Before we get into the national game of the week, let's do the Mountain West roundup. Fresno State going to Colorado State. The Rams are a bad football team. They just are. And I can go on and on about how they need to change their coach and whatever. It is what it is at this point in the season. Shout out to Matt Entz and the Bulldogs team. This is probably going to be a murder. San Jose State is going to Wyoming. If San Jose State can play like they did against New Mexico, then they could still possibly make a run here in the Mountain West. That passing game is scary, especially with the Scud missile, Danny Scudero. Spartans win that. San Diego State going to Reno. San Diego State's a good team. I don't expect this to be much of a matchup. It's chalk here. San Diego State wins. Finishing up with Utah State heading to Honolulu to get a Hawaii test. Bryson Barnes has been a baller. But again, I don't know how many times I have to tell people Hawaii is a weird place and weird things happen. I'm going with the Rainbow Warriors for the national game of the week. I could have picked a lot of games, probably. I don't know. But number 7 against number 3. Indiana versus Oregon. The Oregon
Fox
are one of the teams I hate the most. I will never like them. They are cornballs. With that being said, this got to be the most talented team in all of college football. They're top 10 on offense, top 10 on defense, and they ran through absolutely everybody they've played so far. Now, that Penn State win doesn't look as good anymore, so I don't know. Looking at this for Indiana, though, you can do everybody a solid in college football by upsetting Oregon here. You guys have the offense to do it. The Mendoza is a baller. You got to keep him upright, though. Now, Indiana is a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense, but outside of that Illinois game, they have played nobody. You can say that about both teams, but with Indiana, it does feel a little more fraudulent. I'm not saying they are frauds, because if you do it 2 years in a row, you're not a fraud. But they've definitely gotten the breaks with scheduling, with where they're playing these games. Honestly, for the prediction, I hate it, but the Oregon Ducks are going to win this game. I hope they don't cover, but something tells me they might embarrass Indiana. Now, believe me, I will be cheering the entire game if Indiana surprises me. I will be the biggest Kurt Cignetti fan of all time, but I don't expect it. So the Ducks will win here. Boo Ducks. Let's get some honorable mentions out of the way and then get out of here, right? South Florida, North Texas. This is a very big game for the American. USF is the leader for that conference right now, but North Texas is playing some really good ball right now. Not gonna lie, that's where I'm leaning. I think North Texas gets it done at home. Ohio State at Illinois. Ohio State wins this, but I hope Illinois pulls this off. Alabama, Mizzou. Kalen DeBoer has the Crimson Tide rolling right now. I think this is going to be a slaughter. I don't care if this is in Columbia, Missouri. It's going to get ugly fast. Oklahoma, Texas. Hopefully John Mateer comes back for this game, but as long as Arch Manning is throwing the ball for the University of Texas, Oklahoma can win this game no matter who's playing quarterback. Arizona State versus Utah. Honestly, I just want to see how Utah responds after getting their butt whooped at home. I'm actually probably going to pick Utah, and maybe Arizona State still has some demons from the Pac-12 era that they just can't get over, so Utah wins this game. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. As always, if you made it this far, thank you. And if you like stuff like this, think about subscribing. If you had an issue with anything I said, or you just want to talk about college football in general, drop a comment, but I think you should like the video.